Good morning. It's good to see you. I hope you rested well last night. Come on up with us to the book of Proverbs. In Proverbs chapter 3, we're going to be talking about doing good for just a few minutes. It's good to see you today. Come over to Proverbs 3 and let's start reading at verse 27. Proverbs 3 verse 27. It says, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in the power of your hand to do so. Do not say to your neighbor, 'Go and come back, and tomorrow I will give it,' when you have it with you. Do not devise evil against your neighbor, for he dwells by you for safety's sake." Let's think about that passage for just a minute and think about doing good. One reason that we do good, as you think about what we read, it's because we have the ability. He says, don't withhold from your neighbor what's right. When it's with you, you have the ability to do it. Okay? You have the ability, use the ability. You have the ability to do good. You have the ability to be generous. You have the ability to not just be generous with physical things, but spiritual things. You have the ability. You have the time. Right? The passage says, "Do not withhold good when it is in the power of your hand to do so." You have the ability and you have the time. I remember a good friend of mine, an elderly woman who lives down south. She I heard her pay a compliment one time, and I thanked her for that. And her response was that she was a big believer in giving roses to the living. And it wasn't roses, it wasn't flowers. It was a compliment and an encouragement. But she used the figure of roses, and she said, "You give roses to the living." And what she was saying was, most people, they wait to be thankful, they wait to be generous, they wait to give flowers until someone has passed on. That's when they talk about how much they love them. That's when they talk about how much they enjoyed being around them. That's when they're generous at the funeral. And her point was, we should be generous to the living before they've left us. You have the ability, you have the time, make use of it. They have the need. They have the need. You might consider it. It's within our power to do good, and they may have some need that we can fill. And even if it's not a need, there are other types of needs than physical needs as well. And we need to fill those needs. And it's in our power to do it, and we have the opportunity to do it, so we should do it, and we should recognize that we actually need each other. Did you notice that last verse we read? And let me get over there. That last verse we read where it says, "For he dwells, do not devise evil against your neighbor, for he dwells by you for safety's sake." You might consider that idea, for safety's sake. Your neighbor needs you, and you need your neighbor. We need each other. We depend upon each other. We look out for each other. And that's why we do not withhold good from each other. By being generous, and it's the soul who, those who water others will find themselves watered. We look out for others, and others look out for us. And that's the sort of relationship we need to have with people. Really, what it comes down to is doing good. Is this not what it really means to be a Christian? Loving God and loving your neighbor. That's what it means. So he says, you have the ability, it's in your power to do good, to do it. To do it. Anyway, just a little bit to get us going today. I hope you have a good day. Hope you're able to tune in tomorrow for another brief study from God's Word. I appreciate you. Appreciate you studying along with us. Appreciate any words of encouragement you have. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow morning.